I just spent the last week making this Iron Man helmet. I'm Josh, and let me show you how I did it. This is the Iron Man helmet file that I used. I ended up using helmet part 1, 2, the mask, the back, and then both the ears. And this, overall, this all fits together pretty well, except the ears are just undebatably too small. They need to be sized up at least 3 or 4%. So those do look a little bit funky, but I ended up just putting black foam on the inside, and that makes it look pretty good, even though they're a little small. And the maker of this is Max the 7. Here is the helmet dropped in Cura. Now I did this at 103%, and I really should have brought it up farther. It looks like I can go up to about 108%. I may be able to go up even just a little farther, maybe to about 110. I didn't do this. I didn't think it'd be necessary, but I do wish that I would have scaled this up looking back. And if I was to make another one of these in the future, I would definitely scale it up so that it fits comfortably on my head. Now, I didn't actually record the process of me putting together this Iron Man helmet and actually fully finishing it, and I wish I would have. The truth is I really kind of just forgot. I got pretty excited once everything was done being printed that I kind of just went for it. I started super gluing things together. Next thing I knew, I had this thing fully painted and I hadn't recorded anything. But basically all I did was, once I had super glued it together, I used wood glue to fill any cracks and to make sure that it looked nice, and then I used filler primer to paint over the whole thing, and then re-sand it down, and then I did another coat of filler primer, sand it down again, and then the same gold color that's on the mask, I covered the whole helmet in it. And once that was dry, I used the Duplicolor MC200 Metal Cast automotive spray paint. It was a red color, and I just taped off the little chin area that I didn't want to turn red, and then obviously the mask wasn't on the helmet, and so I did super light coats. I think I ended up doing 4 coats of this, and then once that had dried for about a day, I went back and I did 1 coat of 1K clear coat, just really lightly on there, and that gave it a really nice, super glossy looking finish, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. This next couple of minutes is going to be fairly well sped up, and then I'm going to cut to different parts along the build here, but this is basically just me putting together the whole mechanism for opening the faceplate and putting it back down, and then soldering things together, and then getting the programming done on the Arduino. Here are some bits and pieces and highlights of the build journey with a little bit of voiceover sprinkled in, so enjoy. So to start this project, I used a breadboard to test all of the wiring to just make sure that everything worked well together before I went ahead and actually soldered things. So once that was completed, I would go ahead and use a Perfboard to actually make this permanent. So here's the first test using the breadboard, and that was basically just to make sure that this light was actually going to light up for the eyes. Once I had confirmed that the eyes and the servos both worked properly, it was time to move on to the Perfboard, and I was done with the breadboard. So next I spent about an hour fully soldering everything together, getting all the wiring where it was meant to be, and confirming that all of it worked. So here's my Arduino Sketch, and this works perfectly to turn the lights off when I hit the button, and to lift the faceplate up, and then to put it back down when the button is hit again and turn the lights back on. Now, when I hit this button, which would ideally be mounted in the jaw so you could push your chin forward and lift it up, it raises the faceplate and turns off the lights. And that's pretty sweet, because then when I hit it again, it goes back down. The only thing I will say is that the the arm helper system to actually raise the faceplate and put it back down, some of the pieces didn't really quite fit onto this specific helmet, and I guess that's my own fault because I didn't double check and make sure they fit on this helmet. But if I were to do this again, I would definitely need to find a different way of opening and closing the faceplate, as well as the fact that this doesn't quite fit on my head. I could barely shove it on before I put the electronics in, but with the electronics in, it just doesn't quite fit. So if I was to do it again next time, I would scale it up even further. This was made at 103% scale from what the original creator had, but I've got a big head, so I would have to go up to maybe closer to 105 or 106 to make sure that this actually fits comfortably.